Oh, fuck.
Hey, everybody, this is Brad Bruce, and I'm here with
Chase Barsiglia.
and you're listening to the 5195 podcast.
Back at it. Back in black.
Fuck.
Oh, fuck.
Who is that?
Well, it's our guest today.
Hello, gentlemen.
It is our good friend, Ricardo
Yes,
Yniguez.
You are so fresh.
I'm fresh.
You are so
Smooth.
cool.
Hey,
Cool,
smooth.
cool, no, cool.
Cool?
This is one of those things, you know.
Is it temperature thing?
Oh, it's a temperature thing. Because
Okay.
and I see you sweating. It's okay.
Okay, well, it's because I'm fat.
I will not hurt you. I will not hurt you. I promise.
Okay.
Okay. Get out of here.
Okay.
Bring your stool.
I go get my school down. I'll be back with my swing.
Who the fuck was that?
Oh, man.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, fuck.
You guys are nuts.
I wanted to say, how have you been? But
It's been
what the hell is going on?
a day. Oh,
It's been
gee.
a day.
Whoa.
It's been a day.
It has.
Wow.
We have spent the entire day with Mr. Yniguez. and
We have.
It has
And
been a blast.
And I cannot believe he still wants to hang around.
He wanted to leave so fucking bad.
After the first 5 minutes?
He was like, when we got home, he was just like, I'm going to go put this shit in my car. I'm going to come in and say goodnight. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
He wanted to.
Oh, God. I remember we were talking. The last thing I remember, we were talking about a Dik-dik.
There was the Dik-dik. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you don't believe me, but that's a beautiful little.
Fucked up little animal.
I mean, yeah.
It's cute. It's like a deer with gills in his face. And he's
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
That's a beautiful.
well,
like, what is that heavy breathing animal over there? And
It's
like,
an endangered species.
it's a Dik-dik.
Yeah.
Really?
I saw one being born.
You
Please,
did.
no,
Yeah.
do tell.
Yeah, you told us. Yeah, let's hear
The
it.
living desert out in Palm Springs, but it's not Palm Springs. It's Palm Desert.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful place. If you've never been there, you know, I suggest everybody out there in Radio Land to go to Palm Springs and visit the living desert. It's just incredible. And they work with all the different zoos in the United States to breed animals that are bordering on extinction.
Okay.
Yeah. And the Dik-dik was one. Just a beautiful experience. It really was.
I'm immature, so I mean, it sounds cool.
Yeah. No, but you had to be there.
Yeah, totally.
100%.
Because I can't get past the Dik-dik.
It came out of a vag of its mother Dik-dik.
It did.
Mother Dik-dik. Mother Dik-dik.
But you know, like most animals, unlike human beings, that baby came out and started walking immediately and knew exactly where to go to eat.
Like cows.
Yeah.
You know, cows, they just get up and,
Horses.
yeah, they're just ready to go.
Well, it's
It's impressive to see.
it's Mother Nature protecting the animal in case they have to run. You know?
That's true. Yeah, I remember reading that.
Wait, what? What do you
Did,
mean?
did I hear that?
What?
Did you? No, you didn't.
Oh, fuck.
No. You can't.
Sorry.
A noise?
You can't cover it up. I heard that.
No, I didn't hear anything.
I didn't hear anything.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
What
well,
if you shit?
When the aroma comes this way, then,
it's one of
yeah,
those.
you did.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it was downstairs.
Now he heard it.
No,
See,
yeah,
now he gets out of it.
Yeah,
I heard him. He was looking straight at us when it.
I did. I let it out.
He does that
Let
with
it out.
very direct eye contact.
Oh yeah, no, I
It does it to
it's like a
throw us
pheromone.
off.
It
It's
is.
a pheromone.
You were talking about Mother Nature.
A
This is
fair
how
amount.
this is how,
A fair amount came out. Yeah.
this is how he
Sure.
this is how his species survives.
Is that
Yeah.
why the toilet paper's on the table?
It is. It
Ah,
is.
yeah.
It is.
Secrets. Your secrets are blown.
Whoa.
Oh, I mean,
Very nice. Here we go again.
Richard, jeez, this is
Hey, he's getting in deeper.
a family show.
well, I won't go there. Anyway,
Yeah. So before you guys start
We're
talking
never-
about your
Never
talking
going to
about
get
your-
picked up by
talking about your Dik-dik.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, we did spend the entire day together,
we did. It was
which
fun.
was cool, which was fun. And you were kind of surprised by that. I don't think you knew what we were doing today.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Went to, let me see if I can remember.
Please remember. Please remember where you went today.
Yeah, today we started off and went and had something to eat in Oceanside.
Okay.
Yep.
I was in the back seat of the car,
Yep. He's
Yeah.
passing so
Chase.
far.
Yeah. Well,
and I thought, wow, is this a hit job? What is this? These guys they're taking me out someplace.
Brad would have given you the front seat.
taking you. They're taking you out to whack you off.
Yeah.
Oh, I
said-
missed that part.
What are you talking about, Oceanside? He's like, we were going to dump you off the side of the boat.
Anyway, we had wonderful fish and chips.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, they were
great.
very great. Very
That's my second time being there.
Second time, first time.
Harbor fish and chips.
Yeah.
in
You know what
Oceanside.
really caught my eye was when you guys started looking at the crabs that were
Yeah.
on the.
Yeah.
That was amazing because you can actually see oysters
Mm-hmm.
in the water right there.
Right, right.
And I know I saw abalone.
Hmm. Did you film it, or did you just zoom in when the crab was just?
Eating?
He was just chilling. And,
No, I filmed it.
That was pretty
he
funny.
was like picking off the
Yes,
rock and
I
like
saw
eating.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I
pretty
just
cool.
took pictures. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No.
but that was amazing, and that's Mother Nature at her best.
Yeah.
And the weather was cool.
Oh, it was amazing.
you know,
It was a great
I
day.
loved it so much because it's I love being by the water. I'm terrified of the water. I don't like to go out on the water, but to be near it, to listen to it,
Yeah.
you know, all the whole vibe of the harbor there is just it's really relaxing.
Yeah, we've been trying to get back out there for.
Several trips now.
Yeah.
Because it's been a minute. I think it
has
was
been.
last year.
It was. No, it definitely was. It was in
yeah.
the summer.
You know, it was surprising too how many people were there spending money.
It was
lot.
bustling.
Yes.
It was really
It was.
We hear about the economy going into the drink and that nobody has money, and then there are families,
you
Yeah.
wouldn't think so the way it
No.
seniors, young
Exactly.
people.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Yep.
believe it. I was just,
just making the most of the afternoon.
Yes.
absolutely.
No, it was cool. It was a fun day.
It really was.
Yeah.
And then we met those three young ladies.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
they-
right. I didn't get a chance to talk to him.
Well, the main one that I was talking to was from Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
but she had been here for years and years. She's a citizen, and she was a student of economy
Okay.
in school. The other one was an extra in films.
Okay.
She did Euphoria,
All right.
the
Wow.
whole first season.
Okay.
Wow, that's good. And the other one was a medical assistant.
Jeez.
So, and they were all Latinas,
Yeah.
very young.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought, wow, what a great opportunity. And they were open. We were talking. And,
Right.
so it was nice to get some feedback. But the reason we started talking is because I was wearing a jacket with Telemundo on it. And my close ex-girlfriend was working in Telemundo. And so I explained to him why I have it, because they were talking about, oh, do you know the El Gordo y La Flaca? These are two very popular hosts in television.
Okay.
I go, well, I know of them, but I don't know them.
Yeah.
Oh, but you know, she does this and he does that, and you must know her. I said, well, I know of them, but I don't know them.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing this in Spanish.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, where are you from? And they said, from Escondido. And I go, so you're from Escondido, but you're not escondiéndose, meaning you're not hiding, because Escondido means hidden. And then the other girl said, no, estamos expuestas, meaning, no, we are totally open, or like, you know, you can see us,
Mm-hmm.
almost meaning we have no clothes on. Of
Yeah.
course, they were
We're
dressed.
exposed.
Exposed,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
expuestas.
I didn't catch all
See,
that.
all that Italian he knows just mixes right in with the Spanish.
Bellissimo.
But yeah, I thought that was just so funny that she said that, and so we cracked up, you know.
Yeah.
laughing, and so that was nice. And then from there, that's me pounding, not me
Ooh.
letting go.
Okay.
Anyway, so
Zip it back up.
hello, America. I'm not going to go.
No.
Anyway, the lighthouse.
Yes.
What a beautiful
Yeah, that was cool.
lighthouse.
Yeah.
I took some pictures of that. And,
Yeah.
it was just wonderful afternoon.
It's funny because it's just a simple harbor, and yet it's very scenic, very
Yeah, it was
pretty.
Fun. It was fun.
And all the boats lined up.
Yeah.
And their slips and so forth. And then the ice cream.
Mhm.
That was great.
Yes.
Was that Mama and Papa or what?
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I think the name of the place was...
Was it something sweet shop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but it was Mama and Papa's Sweet Shop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
No, that was a cool little place too.
because it was candy and ice cream.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't just an ice cream parlor. It was
No.
Yeah.
And
No.
Very, very small. You can almost be claustrophobic in there.
Right. It was very small.
it's essentially a hallway.
Yes.
With a counter.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
They had a lot of people in there.
Yeah.
They did. A lot of people, like
Yeah,
I
they
said,
did.
it just, even though it's March, it felt like just like a summer day,
Yes.
summer after, and it was nice. It was nice to just kind of walk around, feel the breeze.
It was nice.
Yeah, then
You
it
know.
started to breeze up a little bit.
It did.
Yep.
Yeah,
It
the
did.
wind got going. But
Yeah.
And then our Uber driver,
Yeah.
Tiny Tina, just gorgeous. I don't know where you found her, but she was just.
It has-
Craigslist, I think.
and
has
she
to be
knows
damp.
what
Craigslist.
Yeah.
Craigslist.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. There's like an Armenian section. You go and you look.
Oh, I see.
You find them
Yes.
in there.
Well, she did a hell of a job. Yeah, taking us from here to there.
And dealing with us.
Oh,
And
good
dealing
Lord.
with us. Yeah. Well, with you were up in front.
Yeah, it's true.
Car full of fucking chuckleheads.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. We were trying to be, civil.
We were talking about, social issues and politics and government, and you guys were up front like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it was like,
Yeah. Another the word midget never came from the back
No,
seat.
no,
No. Derogatory stuff.
I have to beg your pardon,
yes,
midget.
no, I'm sorry,
We were talking about sex.
we were.
We were talking about how much I am going to teach you.
What?
You see? You forgot.
I did.
I don't do that.
I'm sorry.
No, don't look at me.
I don't.
Okay, look down.
I looked down.
I am your boss.
How much further down can I look?
It depends.
Okay.
I like it when you look down.
Okay.
I like it when you kind of do that little chuckle,
Oh, it's when I'm.
Shut up!
It's when I'm.
I am talking to you.
I'm sorry.
Hey, you work for me, no?
I feel mischievous.
Okay. Where's your stool?
I get my stool.
You get your stool. Okay. Where's my Cordova? No. I can't say that.
You can't say- you can't say
I know the company will just, anyway.
It's okay.
Okay. We leave it.
Is that right?
We leave it.
Is that
It's all right.
Okay.
Yes. Mr. Winslow Sauce, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. So
what the hell happened there?
There was,
We went back in time somewhere.
There was a derailment.
yeah. That was a bad Fantasy Island.
That was a Fantasy Island show
Yeah.
with no plane.
No plane.
No.
Wow. So
Bring the car.
yeah, you were talking about our Uber driver taking us from the
that's
harbor
Right. That's right. Yes.
before you guys went on your crazy tangent.
She does not like Tesla drivers.
Yeah, no.
Man, that's all I could hear was it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you
Flipping them off.
man.
and
She was flipping.
Oh,
the bird
yeah,
this way,
she was-
that way,
Yeah.
And she's
it's funny.
good at it.
She's like 5'2" and weighs like 100 pounds, but
But that middle
she thinks
finger,
she's a monster.
that middle finger has some oomph.
yeah, it
it
definitely
is.
does.
She took
Yeah,
she took that piano finger out and was like, "Fuck you, Tesla."
exactly. Well, she was actually doing it because she knew us three were in there, so she was going to get our asses kicked.
Your ass is kicked. We lock our doors.
I was like, "Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh fuck!"
Yeah, so she took us down to La Mesa.
La Mesa.
Oh,
You know what
I'm
you know
sorry,
what La Mesa
La
means?
Mesa.
You know what that means, right?
Tell me.
The table.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Why would they name that the table?
¿Sabes por qué? I mean,
Oh, yeah, no, okay, no, please. Yeah, por favor.
because a mesa is almost like a plateau,
Okay,
but it's flat.
yeah.
So that's like
So that's like a flat land?
flat land.
Okay.
It's like back in the cowboy days. The mesa. We got to get the cows over the mesa.
Yeah.
Come on,
Oh,
round them,
okay.
get them from over there to the left, to the right, and just get them south.
It's like
Go
an
go
actor.
north. Just go north. You got to go north, Joe.
You should act.
You should try acting.
Yeah, Joe, you got to go north, okay?
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
you got that?
Oh, you said north.
I said north.
Pretty sure that means up.
Well, yeah, that's right.
So I'm good. I'm good.
You're smarter than you look.
I read a book.
How much do I pay you? Not enough, right?
Not enough, sir.
Oh my God.
Where's your gun?
Ting.
Oh, there it goes.
Sorry.
I saw it. Yeah, good.
My bad.
I was worried about you.
Wow.
You really should act.
I told you never to ride size saddle when you're among the other cowboys. Didn't I say that?
Well, it looks fancy.
Oh,
Okay.
was that? It's
Every once in a while,
it's
you
the
gotta-
saddle.
just trying to
I
look.
just got that.
Yeah.
All right.
Never ride side saddle with your pants down.
No. That's a no. He
Okay.
he can't do that.
I believe you get your ass kicked saying something like that.
Stain the rawhide.
Just staying. Yeah.
So yeah, La Mesa's a table. A La Mesa.
Well, it's two things. You see, you caught something there.
Okay.
La mesa is the table,
Yeah.
Okay.
but it's also the concept of a flat land.
Yeah.
So when you're driving cows, or back in the day when
That's what Tina was doing today.
driving cows. Oh my! But what a wonderful little town. Yeah.
No, it was cool. I mean, it kind of sucked that everything was fucking closed.
It closes at fucking dawn.
I was gonna say everywhere we went was like every other store was like
That's
closed for the
because
day.
I had to buy a beer so we can go take a leak in their bathroom.
Exactly.
Like all of us had like a full bladder from the harbor.
Yep.
But no, we hit up Reanimated Records,
Yes.
which you have been telling me about for a long, long time.
Very long time.
It very much lived up to its reputation.
Cool.
For such a small place.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a very small place, but I was finding things that, like for me being a movie collector, finding all these movies that I knew were out of print,
Yeah.
like, oh my God, and I put a lot back.
Yeah.
I really did. You saw the stack.
You
I
had
was
a
walking
healthy
around.
stack.
I had a very healthy stack, and I did the math and was like, I could do this
Yeah.
and be okay, but I did put a lot back.
Well, because I mean, this trip is just getting started.
I know.
And we still
I
have
know.
a few more spots to hit.
We do, but it was like, I'm not going to shoot my wad the first weekend I'm here. And,
Oh, fuck.
oh, fuck. So I spent a little bit, but considering what I was walking around with,
Yeah.
I probably could have done a
So,
lot
I mean,
more
do
damage.
you want to divulge what you did drop at Reanimated?
No.
Yeah. Well, I will. Because, like when you spend, they give you like a free tote bag if you spend so much.
I thought I overheard the guy say 80,
Yeah.
something like that. If you spend over $80, you get a tote bag, and
Yeah.
you walked out with like 2 of them.
No, 3.
No,
Really?
Yeah.
I walked out with one.
Yeah.
If that gives people a,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not, I spent 300
Wow.
over there.
and that was, you had an eclectic stack of stuff.
Great. It was a bunch of different
It
things.
wasn't just movies, records.
No, it was toys and it was magazines, VHS. Yeah, lots of stuff.
a book.
Yeah. That book was like,
Oh, fuck.
yeah.
So what was the bet? what do I get out of this?
Dinner.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, and she's just getting salad. That was not worth it.
Well, like I said, I've said it before, I'll say it
My
again.
knives have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is champion. Oh, I can't believe it.
But it's okay because we have something called a censor button. So no one will hear what he said.
Oh,
So,
What was hilarious though was you showed me the book,
and you thought I got it.
and I went, "Bakak!" I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" And then he goes, "No, that's Tina's." And my legs almost fell out from under me. I was like, "Holy shit!"
the driver.
The driver, she was
Yeah.
just like,
Yep.
You know, an interesting thing. Does the tote have the name of the store?
It does.
yes.
Very smart.
They give you the bag.
And I give them
You carry their bag.
exactly.
You're giving them.
Very smart. But
Marketing.
but you know what?
Yeah,
That's good.
I do it proudly though, because
dude, it was a cool place.
that's why. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
And you know what's crazy? When I first started telling him about it, it was only one store. Like, just single. But since then to now, they've actually expanded. And
to
they've
the other
opened that,
side.
yeah. You know,
There's another one?
No, I mean they've gotten bigger.
Oh, so what the lower
Like when
area?
when you first walk in,
Yeah.
it was just that.
So the little area
Where
with
all the movies
tapes
are
and
at.
stuff?
Yeah, that's new.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's well,
And even-
fairly new spot.
And even that, like I said, it was still a very small place.
Yeah,
So if it's doubled the size,
yeah.
it must have been really
I love the vibe, you know, that they have.
that,
going
and
on.
there's so much stuff. I mean, the one wall in the original area, I guess you could say. What were those? They weren't laser discs.
Oh, those cartridge.
Yeah,
movies?
the big cartridge discs. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, I
Wasn't that?
Those are those things that you actually like would. There's a disc inside of it, and you would like push it into the player, and it would inject the disc inside of it, and then you would take that shell back out. Yeah.
Oh.
So that plastic thing doesn't even stay inside.
really?
Yeah, you like push it in, and it would go inside, and then you would like be able to pull it out, and like it would put the disc inside of it.
So if you were done with the movie though, do you put that thing back
Push
in?
it back in, and it puts it back inside.
No way.
That
Yeah.
way you never touch it. Yeah.
Wow. I had no idea.
Yeah, that's very old.
You know,
media.
people who have cats,
Mhm.
you know, you can go in and they have catnip for you. And
Yeah, that was cool.
yeah, you tell them.
Yeah, they had these really nice crocheted
Yes.
catnip cat toys. Well, they were cat toys full of catnip.
Yes.
One was a really cute bloody tampon.
You told me. I don't know how I missed it.
I don't know how you missed it.
Didn't you say it was up by the register?
It
or
was by the
something?
register. And here's the thing. You know what? I can't believe you missed it, but I also can't believe we didn't fucking buy it.
I know.
I will though. I'll get them.
I get.
We'll get
I
'em.
need one. I have cats.
Yes, I'll get. I don't, but I still need one.
And they have one as a slice of a watermelon.
Yes. Yeah, that was for. It comes with the book. Yeah, that you buy.
Wow.
What? Oh, Jesus. Yes, very true. Oh my goodness. He forgot to give it to you.
I almost hit the button, but yeah.
I suddenly pictured Richard at home with his cat dragging around a bloody tampon and him going, "What the fuck is that?" Oh, that's right. I bought that for you.
I bought that for you.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's a hell of a vision.
That would give me a heart attack if I forgot I bought it.
Very realistic, I must say.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
And so, what did you tell me?
What did I tell you?
You said you should buy it and hang it from your
Rearview mirror.
Oh God, in your car.
Yeah, yeah. And I told him, no, I can't do that. I already have a chandelier.
He has a chandelier hanging from it. Yeah.
Oh, that was.
Oh my
Yeah, I did not get an eyeful of that.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's what's funny too about us when we get into those kind of places, like with the collecting and everything, we zone out.
The sensory overload.
Yeah,
is
like we
insane.
zone out, and it's literally like, check this out. This is out of print. Look at this. You need to get this, and then we're gone again. It's weird. It's almost like we're working. You know, the way we care about this stuff.
It's strange, yeah, because
It's very clinical.
it is, and it's almost not fun,
Yeah.
especially if you're watching.
Right.
Because if you're there to hang with us, and we're
Yeah.
like,
well, that's why Richard was like, "Hey, I'm getting the fuck out
he
of here."
did. He was just
You
like,
guys are fucking nuts.
like we walked in, our eyes dilated, and he was just like, I could tell I'm not going to get anywhere with these guys. So he's just like, I'm going to go fucking outside.
yeah.
But
I'm gonna
yeah,
go talk to a drunk chick outside.
yeah,
That's true. Two of them.
two. We just saw the one, and I was like,
they were sipping their
Twisted teas.
twisted tea.
no kidding.
Yeah, poor. You know, they were enjoying themselves. And
Hey, you played your cards right. You could have twisted their teas.
Yeah. Instead, we come out and he goes, "Look at Richard pretending to talk on the phone."
Not to talk to these drunk old bitches.
It's like sitting across from Oscar the Grouch.
I'm not touching on any of this. No, but I want to say is that you mentioned earlier the concept of rarity. You know,
Yeah.
When because you can't even find streamers that actually stream these rare movies anymore.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the fact that you were able to buy it and keep it in your collection.
Yeah.
You know.
That's why it is so important for us. I feel like we are preserving physical media.
Well, we've talked about it before where I told them, I was like, I don't call myself a collector anymore. I call myself a curator.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's,
Yeah.
Because
in essence, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at some point when everything goes streaming, someone's going to have to go, who has this movie on Blu-ray or whatever the medium is,
Yeah.
so that we can take a transfer off of it because everything's gone.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because I don't think Microwave Massacre is ever going to stream.
No.
That's a great title.
It is a great title.
And it stars, what was it, the guy who does like Frosty the Snowman? I forget his name.
Yeah.
Burl Ives?
No, not Burl Ives.
Oh, he does the voice.
He's the voice of the snowman in Rudolph.
Yes, right.
This was the animated Frosty the Snowman. You know, happy birthday.
Oh, wow. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
No, I know. It'll come to me who that is.
I forget who it is, but he's
Yeah.
like the main guy. He's the
Right.
killer. And it's like, I just remember thinking, this is so absurd. I have to buy it.
Yeah.
And I bought it years ago from, I believe it's an Arrow
It's an Arrow.
release.
Yeah.
But it was just, what a weird curio.
Yeah.
I just remember thinking, this is fucking ridiculous.
It is.
And I think I bought it more because the video store I went to, the tape, it looked a lot more lurid and creepy than it probably is. Like the actual big box.
Oh,
that it
yeah.
came in.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
this
yeah,
actually,
yeah.
as a kid, I remember thinking, this looks fucked up.
Right.
And then when I found out who was in it and what it was about, I was kind of like, oh, so that's goofy.
Yeah.
It's going to be.
But you know, it's interesting. If it's a Blu-ray
Mm-hmm.
and you have a nice laser projector,
Mm-hmm.
you can project that on the as biggest wall.
Oh,
biggest
yeah.
wall you want, and you can have a theatrical presentation for your friends.
I got a buddy who he would project on the side of his garage and just
Yeah.
have like put a
Pretty
few
cool.
folding chairs out, and it's like a little drive-in.
That's
you
cool.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's another way of sharing with a new audience
Yep.
that never saw the film before.
And that's the thing. It sounds
That's
dumb.
curating.
It is curating, but it sounds dumb to someone who doesn't collect to see. Why would you buy it if you've never seen it? And you're like, well, what if it's good? Then now I have it.
Yeah. No, sure.
Because my collection, it looks a lot like this. It looks a lot like Brad's. I think I've got over 3,000 horror movies
Oh my.
between DVD and Blu-ray, and I've probably seen a third of them. And I'm trying to just, instead of going to the tried and trues all the time, just,
Expand.
yeah, I bought this a while back. Let's give this a spin. I found some gems. You know, there was a
Right.
few that I've popped in that I was like, that was really fucking good. You know, but I don't have to worry about sending it back or losing a license or, you know, it's
Right.
already in the collection. And some people have told me, why do you have movies you don't like? And granted, it could have been a blind buy that I was like, oh, not that one didn't really work out, and I put it back. But there's some that I bought where it was either part of a series, and I don't want a gap in the series. But then I thought about it, and I told Brad in another episode, I think, if I'm kind of building my own video store, what video store didn't have movies that you didn't care for? At least it's there, and if someone else wants to see it, I have it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, talking about curating and the fact that you save these movies,
Mhm.
we talked about Catch-22.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when I just happened to catch it on Turner Classic Movies, and you know, when you watch the movie when it first comes out, well, you don't realize the cast
Mm-hmm.
that's involved.
Massive. Oh, at the time.
Yeah,
In the
right,
initial
because
time. Yeah.
that's what I mean. And it's a Mike Nichols film. Well, you know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Right.
But then now, what, 30 years later, and you look at it and, oh my Lord, it's every major film star
Yeah.
today. They were in their infancy then.
Yep.
And they just grew and
Yeah.
just took over the industry. And you go, wow. And now all of a sudden that film has more significance than when it was released.
Right.
Because
Sure.
everybody,
Because of that.
well, yeah, but because MASH was so important at the time.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And we tried to figure out what the other film was, and I couldn't remember. It wasn't Patton.
No.
There was another one that was very similar. And so Catch-22 had a hard time. And now it's an iconic film
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
in its own right. So
Right. Well, that cast is insane.
It is. But you know what's funny though? I'll sit back, I'll watch a new movie with today's cast,
Yeah.
the new generation, whatever. And even with that mindset that whatever this is, good or bad, we could be looking at that person in 30 years and going, remember when they were in that shitty movie?
Right.
Or remember when they were in that movie that was really good, but we never thought anything of that person. You know what I mean? And then you go back and you're like, wow, I've been watching this actor or actress for decades and had no idea, you know, and we've done that before. You know, I watched a movie, I think called Dead Space from the late 80s, early 90s. It was a Roger Corman movie. And I took a picture for Brad because it had a very, like, in his 20s, Bryan Cranston.
Oh, my. Yeah.
And it was like, if you saw that movie in the 90s, he's just another actor amongst other actors that, you know, he comes and he goes.
Right.
But it's like now you go back and you're like, that's Bryan Cranston.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I try to do that with today's actors and actresses. And I don't know if it's just because we're in the thick of it, but I can't put my head there and go, they're going to be huge in 30 years.
Right.
And I don't know if it's just because I don't know them. I feel like that kind of mindset is a retrospect
No,
thing.
you don't think in those terms.
You know?
You go and you enjoy.
Yeah.
And the industry, the way things go, fate determines. One thing that caught my eye, and I forgot to tell you guys, and of course I'm not going to remember the film, but the posters that they had on the wall.
Right. At Reanimated Records.
Yeah. Reanimated. And I'm looking at the posters and something caught my eye. One of the writers of one of the movies was Peter Jackson. More than likely when he was a young man.
Dead Alive.
Could have been. Oh, it was.
Okay. Yeah.
Was it the girl holding her mouth open?
Yes, that's
yeah.
right.
It was an old Peter Jackson movie.
And I'm going, no way.
Mm-hmm.
And now we know what happened to Peter Jackson.
Right.
He became a legend.
Lord of the Rings
Right.
and so forth. And I'm going, wow. So everybody has to start somewhere.
Of course. But see, I'm a old Peter Jackson fan.
Me too.
I'm not a new Peter Jackson fan.
Oh.
Yes, I like the old stuff, you know.
See, we've talked before how the Lord of the Rings stuff isn't really our wheelhouse.
Right.
But what's funny is because I know where he came from and what he's done, I admire what he's done now.
Yeah.
Like Lord of the Rings.
What he's accomplished.
Yeah, because I'll look at something like Lord of the Rings, and it may not be my bag, but I'm like, look at what it's given him. Look what he worked up to. At this point now, someone who was making these little goofy splatter movies in New Zealand, they're giving him budgets that are like, we know it's going to be a classic. Just take it.
Right.
And it's like people unquestionably will give Peter Jackson anything.
Yeah.
Because he's just that creative.
He's a proven commodity.
Exactly.
And this is the thing is
yeah.
that even his older stuff, even though it was quote unquote low budget, it was still phenomenal. The writing was great. The acting was great. The effects were insane. You know, so he literally accomplished something amazing on a shoestring budget. So it's like, it's really no wonder he is who he is now.
Right.
Because of where he came from.
But you can look at it and go, almost you look at it from an artistic point of view. Like, I remember when that guy was selling his paintings on the side of the road.
Yes.
And now we're in the Louvre.
Absolutely.
And it's like, yeah, I can look at something like Lord of the Rings or closer to me, probably his King Kong, and just be like, wow. You know what I mean? Like, it may not be my bag, but at the same time, I'm like, I can't deny the scale that he's been given to put his art and creativity to life. Like, this is amazing to look at.
But you know what happens is everything we do becomes experience.
Yes.
Right.
I saw something on YouTube that they were talking about Lord of the Rings, and I thought I'd check it out and so forth. You know, the Hobbit village, they made that village, or constructed it, a whole year in advance.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason he did it so is that it looked lived in and weathered.
Wow.
To give the authenticity to those moments in that film.
So he let it age.
That's a level of
let it
detail.
age.
Instead of just going in and actually aging it.
Aging it, right. Yeah.
See, that's
Well,
that
I'm
kind
sure
of
they did
attention
some
to
of that
detail
too.
that's just
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you hear those stories of Scorsese where like when he was doing Raging Bull, you know, and he's sitting in the ring and he would see some guy in the audience going, nope, that watch is too new. It wasn't at this time. Get rid of the watch.
Oh, really? Yeah.
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 Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
And
so
the
it's like
thing
those
is-
attention to detail I admire that.
Me too. But it's like one of those deals where Lord of the Rings, something like what Richard just described, in the spur of the moment, you don't even notice that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look at the screen and think, man, they really, you don't think about
Right, that's true.
it's like a blip on the radar. It's a 3-hour movie. It might be a 2-second
Right.
scene, but he had enough foresight to go, let it age for the
Yeah.
authenticity.
Yeah.
And other ones like Guillermo del Toro, who has literal books out showing that he puts designs on everything and it
Yeah.
may not even get shown. It could be
Right.
in the background
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and it's out of frame or something. And it's like, he's like, no, I
Yeah.
want this to look like that. I want this pattern on here. And he's very meticulous. And if you didn't have his books to see the amount of detail that he put into something like a door frame,
Mm-hmm.
you'd never look.
Right.
You'd never, it's stuff like that, just the idea that it could be on screen for 2 seconds and maybe not even in focus.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's the credit to motion pictures.
Oh, of course.
They spend money to create an environment, whether or not you will ever see it. That director, the designer of the film, the prop master, I mean, everybody involved, they want to do it as realistic as possible.
But it's, of course.
Fuck.
Oh, here you go.
Oh, fuck.
No, but that you're right. It's a credit to the people working that craft that they want that authenticity, whether you're going to see it or not,
Right.
because they're gonna stress over it.
Yeah. Well, that's the same thing. Even like with the movie I shot at my studio.
Mhm.
When you came to set, you were like, "This looks like a real fucking house."
Yeah.
This so we took time. Like stuff that's never going to be seen. We put in outlets, wall outlets, and like all the staining of the walls and just little things that like I was thinking like, oh, when you walk by, you're going to hit something, you're going to leave a mark. This is going to be like, askewed slightly, or, a staining where a picture was once hanging and all of they smoked in the house.
Right.
Like if there's a nail, it's going to be like bent in and all these little attention to detail that no one's ever going to fucking care about. But it was also the fact that like I needed to be able to give these guys a real environment to sit down and just go, hey, I'm in a home.
See, that's key.
I was going to say it informs the performance, doesn't it?
In that it really did.
Because it's a living place.
Yeah.
And the actor has to absorb that and believe that he is in that place.
Right.
And that being the director, the producer, all wrapped up into one,
Mm-hmm.
you're giving them that environment that they can work from. So
Yeah.
and I've been in those situations.
I mean, I think one of the biggest compliments was when you came to set and you looked at it and you were like, man, I've been on tons of TV shows and this set does not look like a set. It looks like a house.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was happy about that.
Hey, the first time I saw Sparky,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I flipped out. I
Yeah.
go, oh my, I'm not sitting in that thing.
Yeah.
It looked real.
It looks
felt
legit.
real. It felt, yeah.
Yeah.
And ever since. And so, when you shoot it within the lighting and
Right.
the actors that are going to be witnesses
Mm-hmm.
to your environment, it makes it easier to perform.
Yeah.
Well, sure.
No, it does. Yeah.
Because if you put something out that looks okay, I imagine I'm not an actor, but if I walked onto a set that looked like, oh, well, the magic of movies will make it look cool, I think I'd still be in the mindset that I'm just making a movie. Whereas King Kong, whatever, these movies where the detail, they're going to walk on set and be like, oh, this is real.
Mm-hmm.
I can work with this because it feels authentic. So I'll give a more authentic performance.
Well, you know what I do? The first thing I do when, I get the script, I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know where it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But when I get to the studio and I go on to the set, I move around. I sit down. I look at it. I feel it. I touch the doors, the knobs, all of those things, because it's sense memory.
Mm-hmm.
You start to create your own intuitive connection. Very good. And it's very. I don't see many actors doing that. Because they just walk on and they see it. Okay, we got to do our scene, do the blocking. But I need to walk around because I have to know where I'm going, where the doors are, what's behind that door. Oh, that's the bathroom. Okay, I know I'm not going to go through it by mistake. All of those kind of things creates a reality that, as a performer, you then create the reality for yourself that you're imparting with your other performers.
That actually raises a question then. If you do that and you acclimate yourself to the set,
Yeah.
let's say you're playing a cop and it's just the usual police office with the desks and this and that and the other. Do you think it would make your it's just a small detail, but do you think it would make your performance more realistic in the fact that you're getting around this office in a way that makes it look like you've been working here for 30 years?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're supposed to be a hardened cop who's seen it all and you're not a new rookie or anything, but the idea that he knows where everything is, he every day he goes between these two desks to get to his, in your head as an actor, even though this is a new set, you're like, I got to make it look like I've worked here forever.
But remember, you contribute to the environment.
Yes.
So when I do that, and this is my desk, okay, I see where I am in relation to everything else, and then I add things onto the desk. So that if I have to sit there, if I'm going to play with something.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
going to hold it because it's mine.
Yep.
I put things in the drawer. In many cases, my lines are in the drawer just in case I need them.
Sure.
But I know there's something there.
Yeah.
And that's a lesson for anybody. People take it for granted that, you're just going to walk in and it's going to hit you.
Mm-hmm.
No. You really have to go in there, and you don't want to trip on something. You don't
Sure.
and you're aware of your environment.
You're getting around in a way that makes it look like you've been here forever.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And I imagine that
because
would help a lot.
Now, that's a good thing, because there are times when I'm supposed to go into somebody else's house in the story.
Yeah.
There's a murder, and I won't go in.
Yeah, you want to get
because I want to get the first. Yeah, I want to get the first initial. Of course, we're going to do blocking.
Oh, that's a great.
But you stand
point.
back and you basically don't commit yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You do the blocking. You know where you're supposed to go, what you're supposed to say, who you're talking to. There's the body, and all those things have to be there. But you want to walk in with that. Oh, where does that door go to?
Right.
What is this? And sometimes, and directors don't like you doing this, if there's a cop there, usually it's an extra dressed as a cop.
Like a patrolman.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Who had Adam 4, Adam 10.
Uniformed officer.
Yeah. He's there. And I'll say, hey, Roger? Yes, sir. Is the heater on? I'll ask him something. And he'll respond. the assistant director, after the shot, right, will come over and say, Richard, don't do that. Why? He's part of the scene. I want to know because then we have to give him a bump.
Mm-hmm.
What's a bump?
Oh,
and I started
kidding.
questioning in the beginning. I didn't know. He says, no, we have to pay him more because now he's an actor.
Now,
and I said, well,
you turned it into a speaking role.
Yeah, as not just giving him a name.
Oh, wow.
Just giving him a name.
Because it's usually cop number one.
Just something that
Officer
simple,
number 2.
huh?
And not even that. It just says there's a cop there, and they put him. But what it does, it creates a familiarity between me and that working officer.
Right.
Which is more realistic because you're bound to run into him in the break room or...
Well, Police Story, that was the thing. I loved working on Police Story. I did 3 of those.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very lucky that I was guest starring. And so I had control, to a certain extent, of my environment and what I was doing and how I wanted to approach the scene. Those kind of little exercises help you.
I would imagine.
Down the line. Even when I go for an audition and I'm doing the script in my hand still, I don't commit myself to the lines. I may not get the part, and not that I don't want to waste my time. It's just that I'm familiar with this. And you come into an audition. Nowadays, they do it videotaped. But you used to see the director, the casting director, and a producer. That's how I started.
Sure.
Sometimes there were 5 people in the room, maybe more. and you walk in and you can't be intimidated by these people. So you come in and you're supposed to be talking to this person who in the script is you're making an inquiry, you know,
Yeah.
as a detective. I'll go right up to the casting director. I'm reading with her,
Yeah.
and I'll have this repartee with her and walk around, you know, like a cop environment.
Sure.
But I'll use the other people in the room,
Mm-hmm.
eye contact, as people that are also in the script that she's doing all the voices,
Right.
but I'm making a distinction. Oh, and what? And who are you? And she's doing the talking.
Right.
But the reality is that's the character. And then I'll move over to this guy or that person, you know, and or sit down, or then, you know, you take control of the moment.
Yeah.
Because you bring it to life.
Mhm.
And that's what you need them to see. You can't be afraid of there are no mistakes. The mistake is going to be in the dialogue when you trip over a word, and that's okay, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But your intention is the most important thing. And we come back to environment.
Yeah.
You create your environment, but when you walk into that place, you make it yours. And the only way to do that is to really embrace it. It's
Sure.
it's great. Yeah.
Did you ever take an acting class?
Once. Well, I can't say that. I did, but when I got out of the Navy in 1968, I knew I wanted to be an actor, but I didn't know what actors did. Seriously.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just thought they made up the words.
Right. I
I
remember.
swear.
Yeah.
I
Sure.
swear. I mean, I didn't know that they had a script. I mean, it sounds naive, and I was. But I grew up watching movies in Mexico when I lived there as a child, and I watched movies from all over the world. And I watched and I learned,
Mhm.
and I knew who they were.
Right.
And Mexican actors, American actors, French actors, Italian actors, and I just loved it all. you
Sure.
know. So when you ask me about learning, I went to this academy, and they do a test to see if you can qualify. It's a little ploy, you know.
Mhm.
They want to just to make it look like it's professional.
Sure.
And they give you a piece of paper, and I'm going, what am I doing with this? And then he says, you know, come in, stand here, turn this way, turn that way, look this way, look that way. And you go, okay. And now read this. Well, I'm going to, yesterday, the door went, and I was frustrated because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he wasn't there to tell me. And he said, well, okay, thank you. And yeah, you know, if you're interested, you know, give us this call, and we'll start setting up the dates you can come to class. He didn't say how much or anything. And I leave. I said, I ain't going back there again. You know, that doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
But then going to college, I had to do something. And when I got out and GI Bill and all that stuff, I went, I was living in a mortuary. We talked about
Yeah, we talked about
before.
that. Yeah.
But this young girl told me about a show that they were doing at PBS. So I went. That's when I learned acting. It was a 3-week crash course with these 3 performers that I knew growing up when I was a child
Yeah.
in movies and TV.
Wow.
Yeah. And what are you going to learn in 3 weeks? I applied myself. Then I started to realize, oh, dialogue, oh, screenplays,
Mhm.
oh, a monologue. I have to memorize all of that and then tell you, repeat.
Wow.
And it was like, my house is on the corner. And I'm exclaiming, you know, in Mexico, exclamador, you're doing poetry. And you're doing this, you know.
Yeah.
And the guy looked at me, he said, Richard, just say it. Just say it like if you were talking. Oh. My house. You know, it was the hardest thing in the world to do.
Yeah.
But once I got a hold of it, I slowly fell into it. And then they said, no, there were 400 people that they got from the community to teach them acting.
Yeah.
And then they told us all to go home because they weren't going to use anybody.
Yeah.
They hired professional actors. But I didn't want it to die. I started a nonprofit, myself,
Mm-hmm.
called the Mexican American Theater Workshop. It was 1968, and I started teaching acting
After the
after a
3
3-week crash course.
Yeah.
And I
So like you had a class of 30 going, my house.
no, but by that time I was a lot more,
Seasoned?
You found you found a way to be natural.
I
and,
instinctively knew what to do. For some reason, I wasn't perfect, of course, but
something had to have clicked.
It came easy. Then it started. Then I had to get an agent, all that stuff, and boom. Pepe, I met for the first time. Pepe Serna,
Yeah.
most people know.
Oh, yeah.
I met him in 1968. He came while I was doing the class with another friend of his, Mario Anio.
That's how long you guys been friends?
Oh, yeah. It's the first time I met him.
You know him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pepe Serna. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my kids were like freaking out because, well, one of my son's favorite movies is Scarface.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah.
He's done so much work. And yesterday they gave him a lifetime achievement.
Oh, really?
No kidding.
I couldn't make it yesterday. I wanted to be there, but I took Jules,
Right.
94 years old, friend of mine, to Palm Springs.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, that's how long I've known Pepe.
Wow.
And
That's pretty cool.
Well, hopefully one day we'll get him on the show.
Oh, absolutely. We might have to go there.
Yeah, that's fine. We're mobile.
Yeah.
He lives in Cathedral City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the concept of familiarity, getting to know things and using it to your benefit.
Right. So when you did start this workshop and you were assembling these guys, what was your tactic? Like what was the goal for doing this?
The goal basically was because those who became part of the classes decided that that's what they wanted to do as a career. And that's what I wanted to do. There was no guarantee of anything, but I wanted to fight for it.
Yeah.
And so they were like-minded. We got together and we would do scenes. I had screenplays. I got them, and from Canción, the series.
Yeah.
And boom, we started to work on it. And some of them, unfortunately, many of them, they slacked off. They thought they were too big for their britches at times.
Kidding.
Okay.
I know more than you, and so
Yeah.
I got a call from the head writer of the series,
Okay.
and he said, "Richard, we're bringing you back. You're going to be one of the members of the cast."
Yeah.
I said, "Really? What am I going to do?" And he said, "You're going to be the youngest brother." Oh, okay. So they thought maybe a little humor would come from me,
Yeah.
and that's how it started. From
Wow.
1968. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. Do you remember your first studio picture?
Oh man, I don't. The first thing I did on film was for Encyclopedia Britannica, and it was called. I can't remember what it was called back then because remember we talked earlier about changing the name of things.
Right.
You didn't realize it.
Yeah.
Well, now it's called Chicanos of the Southwest,
Okay.
and it's a UCLA. They did it. They enhanced it
Okay.
from 1968. And that was my first acting job. And I think already you could see there was a big change but not much from myself today and how I work.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting. And I have it. I should send it to you guys.
Please.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it.
It's and Mario is in it. The other guy
Oh,
that
really?
was working with
Yeah.
me and teaching, he was a classical actor.
Okay.
So he did Shakespeare and all that stuff, something I never did.
Right.
But he would do that with the group. It was
Yeah.
very interesting stuff.
That's cool.
But those are the beginnings. Again, from that, you grow every day with experience, whether you're a producer, director, or whatever.
Yeah.
You start to realize what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
And how to use the camera. Meaning, the one thing I learned is I can throw my performance right into the camera.
Okay.
And I know that sounds weird, but it's something you learn as you go along. And you're aware of it while you're performing, but you're in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you're outside your body watching yourself,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and it's working. And then when you see it on screen, you go, "Holy moly!
Wow.
Okay, I know what I'm doing." You know, and it's
That's got to be a rush of some sort.
yeah, it's prideful.
Wow.
You know, and you have to be careful because you can get overconfident. You can get your ego can rise to
Mm-hmm.
way beyond its due justice, so to speak,
Yeah.
because somebody's going to slap you down anyway. And but man, it's such a rush when you know you're in front of the camera and you're working with actors that you grew up with. You know,
Yeah.
Robert Mitchum, Lucille Ball, whatever. But you have to look at them from the fact that they're just actors like you are,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just as nervous as you are.
Yeah.
You know, because you'll always be nervous
Right.
because it is a responsibility. Back in those days, where we were doing film.
And that's scarier than digital.
Oh yeah, because digital you can do it over and over again.
No problem.
Nobody, you know.
Yeah.
But when you're doing it and you're doing take after take and busting up there, they're thinking twice. Well, we ain't bringing this guy back.
Wow. That's scary.
That is a scary thought.
And that's also on your mind.
Sure.
It is, but you let it go.
Yeah.
You can't worry about it. You have to worry about what's going on.
Right.
It'll
and
stifle
it'll flow.
you.
That's what rehearsals are about.
Yeah.
It'll flow, and you're just moving from one concept to the next.
Mm-hmm.
What is this scene about? Oh, and many times within the scene there are different moments.
Yeah.
And you start going from, okay, from here to there, I'm dealing with him on this issue. Oh, now I'm moving away from him because I don't want him to see what I'm thinking. You know, all of those different things, and the director then falls in line, and you fall in
Yeah.
line with the director, and so it's a dance.
Right.
It's a
Right.
dance. It's a beautiful dance.
Did you have a preference between film and television?
Well, I didn't do many motion pictures. I did mostly television,
Okay.
and I would do television movies
Yeah.
and episodics, and for the most part, guest starring
Yeah.
or starring in the TV movie.
Right.
So I was very lucky. On anything like a TV movie or a feature film, you have more time
Mm-hmm.
to understand the issues and where you're going with it. Episodic, man, you gotta boom, 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 and be there.
Just run and gun.
It's run and gun because they have a time element that's just a little too overwhelming,
Yeah.
and that's where soap operas are incredibly.
Yeah.
I have so much admiration for soap opera actors. We're talking about pages and pages, and they're doing this almost every day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They boom, it's the turnover is crazy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And when you're guest starring on a soap opera, you know, they're used to memorizing that much.
Oh,
You have to
Jeez.
get caught up to the.
Yeah.
Got to
Yeah.
get caught up, and oh yeah, it's
No, I've heard that's a wild ride
Yeah.
trying to do.
So, you ever think about returning?
you know, now that you're asking me, yes, I'm going to start doing. I'm very involved in the community.
Yes.
I'm active in supporting my fellow performers and those who are coming up
Right.
through the EAI, the concept of grants, and we're now giving grants to those fire victims, and I hope people go to the Site Arts Initiative page, and because right now we're in a cycle. If you're an artist within the East Los Angeles area, and you're looking for funds to finish a film or starting a film, doing a mural, music, every aspect of art.
Well, we can put the links on
Yeah.
socials when,
Yeah.
when the show comes out.
And I'm not doing enough for myself because I like telling stories.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I started as a child in elementary school. Instead of eating lunch, I'm out there telling stories to kids,
Yeah.
and they're mesmerized, and I could see them. And I remember doing that as a child, and it just it led into what I do now.
Right.
But yeah, no, I'm hoping. Well, we have ideas.
We do.
Let's let
Yeah, we have
let it
something.
slide. We have ideas, and we're working on things.
Yeah, some
And
cool-
I'm proud of the fact that we're. I'm the fact that I'm here with you two guys, but
well,
Tina,
likewise, yeah, it's
Tina,
it's
but
always a pleasure.
super
it's,
fortunate.
But it's
yeah.
what we can accomplish more
Mhm.
and still creating more storytelling ideas, new ways to tell the story, new concepts that haven't been told yet.
Yeah.
That's the concept of being creative. We think of things that never have been thought of before.
hmm
We execute and create new things that never existed before. And that's the essence of art. You write it because it comes out of your essence, out of the ether. And Jason and I were talking about that in the back seat that you couldn't hear.
Yeah, I couldn't hear.
And
Chose
but
not to.
but it's the concept of where does it come from?
Mm.
And then we can put it together and we shoot it. We put it on film,
Mm-hmm.
digital, whatever it's going to be. And that's where all of a sudden it comes to life.
Yeah.
And it becomes a part of the new vernacular of film, of our new audience.
Yeah,
And I think that's beautiful.
I do too.
Mm.
Yeah, because
So send your money,
yes, please.
okay, to 5195 podcast, and we're going to be making new movies. We're going to be making new things here. So come on, we need the money.
Indeed.
All right. I'm sorry I'm so blatantly asking for money, but it's a good thing.
That's what we do.
Elon, you want to say anything?
I'm gonna make my cut.
Fuck.
Oh fuck!
I'm sorry, but
I like Tesla.
it came from me. It spilled out.
You're getting back to your roots now. Now it's like, hey, you want to see some
I
cool
know.
shit? Give us money.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, I think we do have some really cool shit that we're putting together, and I think it's going to be fun. And it's not just for us, but yeah, we want to like open that offer to other talented actors, new ones and old ones that aren't getting the opportunity to act anymore.
That's the thing.
Because there are you actually said it perfectly when you were talking about Tarantinoing.
Yeah.
Some of these actors, because some of the people that are available are
There's
just
the people that
they're
we grew
incredible. Exactly, these are incredibly talented people that I would consider an honor. Because I still,
Yes.
every time I think about the film that we shot together, I still do consider that an honor that I was able to work with you.
Yep.
Because I genuinely do respect your talents, and it was amazing to do that, and I want to do that more. It's like we have the ability, the talent, so it's like we need to make these films.
Well,
We need to do this.
The honor is mine and the privilege. But remember, we were talking about the studio system, and that's something we've lost
Right.
because of streaming, because it's so difficult to get a job today in any format.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, familiarity
Mhm.
breeds stardom. And that's what the studios were about.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you saw Robert Taylor, every time you saw Gary Cooper, you
Right.
saw them in Beau Jest, Mr. Deeds Goes to Washington. I mean, all of a sudden you go, why is Jimmy Stewart a star? Well, because the studio not only nurtured him and put him in different movies, he also learned who Jimmy Stewart was and what the audience liked.
Mhm.
Henry Fonda. When you see their earlier movies, it's like, oh. And then all of a sudden they took on this persona.
Mhm.
Charlie Bronson.
Yeah.
Charles Bronson. He's one of I'm telling you, people may say he's just a personality. He's not. He's an incredible actor. You go back to his days of Man with a Camera, and you see him in The Magnificent Seven. He was developing things that were different and worked for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had other stars that were just cardboard cutouts of themselves.
Right.
But that's the beauty of if you can create something that has these actors or people that you trust, you start to see something in them.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden they're in something else that you put together.
Right.
And all of a sudden Jace does something within the same company and he's going to do this with them. And the same thing goes with the writers. Remember, the studios had all the writers. They put them together. You know, Warner Brothers had their cadre of writers, MGM, Paramount, RKO. That's what they were doing, nurturing all these people. And nobody's doing that.
Right.
I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's become sort of a every man for himself, you know.
Yes. Well, they called it a factory, but that's what it was.
It was.
But what does a factory do? It creates, it spits out, and it's new. And then, okay, let's get the next model. It's the next movie. Boom, boom, boom. Betty Davis. I've been watching on Turner Classic Movies Barbara Stanwyck.
Okay.
I saw movies. I think I've seen every movie Barbara Stanwyck ever made. But when you start to see new ones that you hadn't seen before, you say, now I know why she's the star that she is. But it's also because she was doing 4 or 5 movies a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. But what does that mean? If you're doing a television series, you're doing 10 mini movies a year. Okay. Same thing. Okay. That's why Betty Davis, she did, 3 or 4 movies a year because she was cautious about what she did. Errol Flynn didn't have that opportunity. He said, here, you're going to do this. You're going to do that. You're the hero. Blah, 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 blah. But it worked for him because that's what he personified.
Yeah.
And I still think he's an incredible actor for what he did.
Right.
So they're not just pretty faces. They saw the talent and they nurtured it. Nobody's doing that to these young people, to these older people that have the experience.
You're right.
But
You're
that's where you put the
absolutely right.
new and the old, you bring them together.
Yes. Yes.
It's beautiful.
I'm excited. As long as we can keep the fire stoked under your ass, we can make this happen.
Well, I'm working on pulling away from Los Angeles because the drive from where I live to LA, it can drag you down. And if I come back too early, the drive is longer because now I'm in traffic. And if I go too late, they cut the road down to one lane because they're doing work.
Aye.
So you can't win. And so, I have to think about those things now.
No, there's some cool things happening because even there was another one of the producers that I was working with locally at our studio. We've been toying with the idea of potentially doing another facility, having another space. So that in addition to what we're trying to create as well. So we definitely want to give opportunity. I mean, because mainly for us too. Honestly, us and the people we know. We want to give the opportunity that Hollywood's not giving anymore. Because it's sad. Like I do. I watch these movies and it's hard. I find myself, that's why I surround myself with these older movies that mean something to me versus I watch something and it's hard for me to get as invested in the new stuff because it just feels so cookie cutter and it feels so rushed. When I watch the old stuff, I don't feel that, there was this magic to these movies when you're watching it, and I haven't felt that in a very, very long time with film. And of course, we're the horror guys. We love watching horror films, but we do watch other things because we watched, I watched a little bit of it because I had to God, this is crazy. But the movie that swept this past Oscars.
Oh, the Anora.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
Seen it?
Okay. So I watched it and I was like, well, I watched part of it. Tina was watching it and I was peeking in on it and I was like, this is an Oscar winning movie? Why? I didn't get it. And I wanted to.
Well, something like that, you're you feel almost defensive because you're like, what is it about this that everyone's getting that I'm not receiving?
Correct.
I did the same thing, and my dad, he rags on me for this all the time, but one of his favorite movies was Gladiator.
I was the first one.
Yeah, the first Gladiator. And I was like, is it a good movie? Yeah. Was it the best movie of 2000? I'm like, fuck no.
Right.
And it won Best Picture. I'm sitting here like Traffic, Aaron Brockovich, both of those, both Steven Soderbergh movies. I'm like, either one of those were better than Gladiator, just as a movie that engaged me.
Yeah. Aaron Brockovich was fantastic.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
And I was just like, Gladiator?
Well, she won the Academy Award that year, right?
I think she did, yeah. But it was like Soderbergh should have owned the Oscars in 2000, and then Gladiator wins.
Right.
And I remember thinking, cool, but I could go back and watch Spartacus.
Yeah.
I could go back and watch King of Kings. I could go back and watch, the chariots, stuff like. I was like, I've been here before. I've done the sword and sandal thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm like, it's a good movie, but I'm like, I've been like that for a long time where I'm like, what am I not seeing in these best pictures that other people are?
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you defensive because you're kind of like, I'm a cinephile.
Right.
Why is everyone in love with this? And I'm like, well, what is it I'm not doing? Am I a snob now?
Mhm.
And I just, with Anora, I was like, is it a good movie? Yeah, it was a pretty good movie. But I'm like, best picture, the way everyone made it sound, I was like, no,
Yeah.
I didn't connect with it that way.
Right. Right.
So I mean,
what it did do for me when I watched the few, because I probably watched maybe 15, 20 minutes of it, like sporadically throughout the film. It made me go, I might be able to win an Oscar with the things I could write and create. Honestly, it was like, well, hey, that counts. Fucking cool. The shit I do can count then.
I've always said, me personally, and I've told you this before, the things that I write, I'm like, I don't aim that high.
Yeah.
But everyone tells me you're going to win an Oscar one day. And I'm like,
know-
but what's weird is what my idea of an Oscar worthy movie isn't everyone else's. So how funny would it be for me to fail upward? It's not unheard of. You know what I mean? And it's like, I would be just as surprised as anyone else. If someone goes, hey, that script you wrote, that's up for best screenplay. And I'd be like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, are you serious? And I wouldn't know, but it's like, I don't aspire for that. I just want to give people a good time.
Yeah.
But you know what's happening? I think the industry is shying away from long form. I think the future is what's been happening with filmmakers, and that's shorts.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can tell a story within 10, 15 minutes.
Absolutely.
Or at least start. And then you go episodic.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are using their cell phones, their tablets.
Yep.
But you still have to shoot it with the idea it could go on the big screen.
Right.
Okay, so the formatting is important. But the devices that you're going to be appealing to may be totally different than what you thought you were going to actually do this for.
Right.
And I think and I think that's also the concept of the independent, because what's happening is you're learning to do the story quicker.
Yeah.
Bring forward the relationships and establishing the plot line. And then what happens? Hey, we're working in
That
here.
was Tina.
We're working in here.
Here it comes.
Turn it down. Shut the
No,
fuck up.
no, we're working in here. Stop it.
Shut the
Jeez.
fuck up.
There you go. Go
All right.
ahead.
Sorry. I'm back.
Fuck.
That was
Oh, fuck.
That guy sounded familiar.
Yeah. Anyway, do you see what I mean? I think
Yeah.
that's our future potentially. If you look at bringing in an audience
Mhm.
and you feed them little bits, and they can take it anywhere they're going because it's mobile.
right.
And all of a sudden, you're establishing that audience. Because what's happening with Netflix and those? They're doing 9 episodes, 6
Yeah.
episodes. English.
Oh,
do-
you're right.
the
Everything's
English
like
do-
everything's like a limited engagement thing,
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah.
I get
Really?
that.
The
yeah.
English do 6 episodes.
Right.
They don't do 8, 9, 10. You know.
And they call it a series.
Yes.
Really?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So you're never gonna watch like Downton Abbey season 2. It's like series 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
Doctor Who series 12.
And
you know.
Europe, like Spain and so forth,
Okay.
they'll do 4 episodes, but each one is 120 minutes.
Mhm.
Wow.
They're movies.
That's a yeah.
Exactly. But they give you a middle, beginning, and not an end, but a cliffy.
Okay.
And then you want to see the next episode.
Got you.
Which is
See.
like the sequel movie.
Right.
You know.
But it's digital, obviously.
Right.
But that's where's the money coming from? Where, and remember in Europe, what we don't have here is subsidy.
Okay.
The governments give production companies
Oh
funding
wow.
for their projects.
Yeah, our government couldn't give 2 fucks about the arts.
Oh,
I was like,
yeah.
we're totally on our own.
That's where we are fending for ourselves.
Yes.
And we need to look for like-minded people who believe in what we're doing
Mm-hmm.
that's going to benefit them in the pocketbook.
Ender has hunger.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yes.
First and
that's key.
foremost, it's the greenback that talks.
That's right. Because at the end of the day, they don't care about the art. They care about how much the art's going to make.
And that's true. And I will say this about Anora, it winning Best Picture and all the other things it did, that's a boon for independent film.
Independence.
Yeah.
Because that was not a Paramount Warner.
Well, that's why I said I feel like I can make an Oscar-winning movie now.
You probably could. And that's the thing. It's not... The Oscars, to me, were never a venue for the independent.
Not at all.
So when something like Anora hits the way it did, it makes people perk.
Mm-hmm. Well,
You
I mean,
know.
there was a time, like, I remember working with a couple of friends, like, they had made a horror film, and, it got, Netflix bought it. And I remember we were at lunch, and we were talking about, it was a production meeting about their next film, and they were going to shoot down here. And we were sitting right across from the Directors Guild. So we're having lunch, and one of the producers, he said, it's kind of crazy to think that you guys sitting here will never be a part of that, the DGA.
Wow.
Because at that time, horror directors weren't considered directors.
No,
Even if we logged the hours in the director's chair, it didn't matter.
doesn't matter
to them.
It was
You
a
know.
bastard stepchild.
Exactly. And now there's like, now they're winning Oscar films, which is cool. It gives me hope. I think it's going to give us all hope.
But here's one thing, and this is something that starts with us inside.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I will, but we're not aspiring for the Oscar.
Mm-mm.
Jay said it right. We're aspiring to give the audience the best product that we can give them, that we know economically it's going to create funding for our next film.
Mhm.
Right.
We need to think that way, and because that's only going to make us stronger. Because we don't need the pressure
No, and
of them.
and to me, the laurels are a perk.
Right.
If they happen, great.
Yeah.
Fine. I'm proud, but I'm not in it for the laurels.
No.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm in it to be a storyteller and engage
Yeah.
people and get that feedback. And when you get the feedback from studios that, hey, that was really fucking good, kid.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want. You know, it makes you a commodity.
Netflix does have certain series that are shorts. In other words, they're 10 minutes long.
Mhm.
I've seen some of them. And there was it Apple or was it another company that all they did were shorts and they thought that was the new revolution?
Oh, I don't know.
And then it died.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it died big time. And I can't remember who it was. It was a very popular agent who became a producer and with Spielberg and them, and they started this company.
Mm.
And they were located at MGM. What was it called? I can't remember. But yeah, they had a platform that only showed short.
Wow, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And
It must have not been around long.
no. And but I think it has something to do with not Apple. But anyway, I remember that really. We'll do our research because that's still there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other thing, platform. Who's going to buy it? Where are you going to
Right.
screen it? All of those kind of things. That platform you have to either create yourself or you find a platform that's willing to partner. Because you want to be a partner. You don't want to be subjected to them telling you what to do, how to do it, and controlling the product.
Right.
Because then you're defeating your purpose.
Exactly.
But you have to prove the fact that you have the wherewithal to make the right product that's going to do what you say it's going to do. And the only way to do that is that it makes money.
Mhm.
So in the beginning, it's going to be a platform we decide or we create.
Yeah. I
Agreed.
agree. Awesome. Well, hopefully you'll come back and we'll.
Yeah, we'd love
Again,
to have
give
you
an update.
again. It was great to have you back in the studio.
Is that what that cot's for?
Yes. Yeah, you're not leaving.
Well, that's what I was just wondering. That
Yeah.
cot was there. It's the pillow.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you didn't know, but we took your keys. Your car's already
See, I
somewhere
thought
else.
so.
Yeah.
Well,
no, you're
it
not
was
allowed to
the
leave.
tippy thing. Is
Yeah.
the bottle of tequila that you.
Oh,
have at the
yeah.
side.
Yeah. You've
The
seen
lemons,
Misery, right?
the
Right.
lemons and so- yeah,
You've seen Misery? Okay.
I'm not in misery yet, but
We're your
I
biggest fan.
remember,
Not yet.
yes.
Yeah, we are your biggest fan.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, well, thank you for coming and thank you for spending the day with us.
Yeah, it was a blast. It was great.
I had a blast. We had fun.
Yeah,
Always
we
great
did.
to have
And we didn't tell you because we knew if we told you what we had planned, you would have been like, "Oh, I'm too busy." You wouldn't have showed up.
Aw.
So,
That's true.
do I know
No,
this guy or
no,
what?
no. I did say, but I didn't realize it was going to be all day.
I know.
It's
I know.
Yeah.
I know. That's why the cot's here. It's way past your bedtime.
It's that much
way
o'clock.
past my bedtime. But
That's why we'll wrap it up.
Do be
my
careful.
cats
going
are
home.
saying, "Where the hell?"
Where's my catnip-filled
Bloody
crochet
tampon.
I guess that's it, guys.
That's it.
All right. Until next time.
See you guys.
Lipstick.
Oh, fuck.